I always thought the scariest thing that could happen to me at home was losing my save file. That changed the night someone used my name to find me. I was 16, parents out for the weekend, and I had the whole house to myself. Summer air, rain on the window, and the usual loop. Gaming, YouTube, snacks. I was upstairs in my room, headphones on, screens glowing, completely zoned out. The kind of alone you enjoy until it stops feeling safe. At first it was just a sound that didn't belong. A voice, faint through the rain. I paused my game because I assumed a video had started on autoplay. Everything on my screen was paused. I tugged my headset off and listened. The voice was muffled, coming from outside, somewhere close to the house, swallowed by the storm. I went to the window to see, but by then, the voice had stopped. I went downstairs, checked the yard and the driveway from every window I could, found nothing, grabbed a bag of chits, and told myself I was being paranoid. An hour later, mid-match, the voice returned, but this time it sounded different. Clearer, closer, as if it had shifted from the street to inside the walls. It wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. It said one word, and my stomach dropped. Luke. That's what my friends call me. Not Lucas. Luke. It was the perfect word to make me look up. The voice had a gravelly edge, like years of cigarettes. Calm and low. Almost polite. I didn't recognize it, but I knew it was in the house, and probably right beneath my bedroom. Everything in me told me to hide or call for help. Instead, I did the stupid, quiet thing. I cracked my door and listened. He said my name again.
Luke!
Soft, like he was asking if I was there. That tiny, friendly tone made it worse. It felt practiced, invasive. I backed away and made the decision I still replay in my head. I pushed my window wider and climbed out onto the small sloped roof over the porch. It was narrow, slick with rain. And I didn't stop to think about how dumb and dangerous that choice was. Panic narrows your options until only one path seems possible. Halfway out, I realized my phone was on my desk inside. I leaned back toward the gap to try to reach it and froze. A shadow glided in the hallway, not outside, not blurred by rain, but a solid form crossing the doorway, turning toward my room. He was inside. He shuffled through my room, footsteps soft on carpet, and called my name
Luke!
again. That's when the fear fully landed. I imagined him at my desk, seeing my game on pause, figuring out exactly where I was. I thought about trying to grab my phone and getting caught. I thought about screaming and drawing whatever he wanted toward me. I did the only thing my body could manage. I edged to the far end of the ledge, couldn't lower myself safely, let go, and fell. The drop was 8 to 10 feet. I hit the ground hard, the breath knocked out of me, legs burning. I lay there for a second thinking I'd broken something, then scrambled up and ran. No neighbor answered.
Help me!
The rain blurred my vision, and my hand shook as I pounded on a door until someone called the police on me for disturbing the neighborhood. The irony of begging for help and getting reported instead of opened is a kind of humiliation I still feel. When officers finally arrived, they searched and found nothing. No trace of a man, no footprints in the wet grass. Only my bedroom window wide open, the ledge where he must have climbed out, still damp. I never saw his face. I never knew what he wanted. The fact that he was close enough to call my name, calm and casual, and then slip away like he'd never been there, is the part that haunts me. That night taught me a simple, brutal lesson. The house where you feel safest is exactly where someone can find you if they know how to use your name. They say working night security is boring. Endless hours of empty halls, coffee, and nothing happening. But the truth is, sometimes nothing happening is the only thing keeping you alive. I work nights as a security guard at an office park in a wealthy part of town. Normally, it's the easiest paycheck imaginable. Quiet lobbies, silent elevators, and long stretches where the only sound is the hum of the AC or the ticking of the wall clock. That night was different. The rain was relentless, pounding against the windows so hard it muffled almost everything else. It blurred the outdoor cameras into gray static. That meant if someone tried anything, I'd be half blind. I remember thinking it would just be a long, sleepy shift. They say working night security is boring. Endless hours of empty halls, coffee, and nothing happening. But the truth is, sometimes nothing happening is the only thing keeping you alive. I work nights as a security guard at an office park in a wealthy part of town. Normally, it's the easiest paycheck imaginable. Quiet lobbies, silent elevators, and long stretches where the only sound is the hum of the AC or the ticking of the wall clock. That night was different. The rain was relentless, pounding against the windows so hard it muffled almost everything else. It blurred the outdoor cameras into gray static. That meant if someone tried anything, I'd be half blind. I remember thinking it would just be a long, sleepy shift. 30 minutes in, the motion alarm triggered at the front door. Standard procedure: check the feed, walk over, make sure it's nothing. I got up, flashlight in hand, and went to the entrance. Glass doors, rain streaming down them, empty parking lot. No one there. I reset the system and returned to my desk, brushing it off as weather interference. A few minutes later, I heard sound that made the hairs on my neck rise. A phone ringing. Not my cell, not the desk in front of me. It was coming from one of the offices downstairs. At first, I thought maybe someone had left their phone. But when I entered the darkened office, I saw the source. A desk phone, receiver lit up, flashing, unknown caller. It rang and rang. I didn't touch it. I let it ring until it stopped. Then, a minute later, it started again. For the next hour, that phone rang at random intervals, the same unknown on the screen every time. The sound echoed through the dark, empty building, bouncing off walls until I couldn't tell if it was in front of me or behind me. At around 1 a.m., I was doing my rounds, flashlight cutting through the stairwell shadows, when I heard it, a heavy thump, not a small creak or a random pipe, but a deliberate weight slamming down. I jogged back to the front desk, checked the system, and froze. The alarm monitor showed something I had never seen before. The front door security was on pause. That setting doesn't happen by accident. Someone had disabled it, which meant if anyone walked in, no alarm would sound. My heart was hammering as I rushed upstairs. I didn't even think to call anyone. I just wanted to check the building. When I reached the third floor, I saw it. A door that should have been closed was wide open, the office beyond swallowed in darkness. I edged closer, hand shaking on the flashlight, and then everything went black. A sharp, crushing pain at the back of my skull dropped me to my knees. My light clattered across the floor, spinning shadows in every direction. Through blurred vision, I saw a shape, a man standing in the doorway, watching me. I don't remember making the choice to run, but my body did. I stumbled down the stairs, hitting the railing, nearly falling, adrenaline forcing me forward. I burst out into the storm and dialed 911 with shaking hands, the phone slippery with rain. By the time police searched the building, the man was gone. No forced entry, No broken locks, no fingerprints. One unexplained fact: the system had been deliberately paused, the cameras perfectly useless in the storm, and the same office phone still ringing on the desk with unknown caller. The company never told me what was taken that night. They brushed it off, told me to forget it, told me I was lucky it wasn't worse. But I still think about how prepared he was. Like he knew the schedule, the weak points, even how to avoid being seen. He didn't just sneak in. He waited, watched, and struck when he knew I was closest. The part that keeps me up at night isn't the hit to the back of the head or the unanswered questions. It's the image of him standing there in that doorway, silent, letting me see him just long enough to know he was real. I still work security at that same office park. Same halls, same stairwells, same midnight silence. But every time the rain fogs the cameras, I feel that same creeping dread. Because I know someone out there is patient enough to wait for the night when nothing happening finally happens again. The storm covered his tracks, but it couldn't drown the sound of my own heartbeat. What started as a late-night hangout turned into a race to survive something I never expected at my front door. One night, my buddy Thomas came over. We drank a few beers, talked about nothing, and since he didn't work the next day, I told him to crash on my couch. He drove to his place for 5 minutes to grab some clothes, and promised to be right back. About 20 minutes later, someone knocked. I figured it was Thomas and opened the door, but it wasn't him. A man in all black stood there, soaked through from the storm, smiling at me like he belonged. He put one foot in the doorway and didn't say a word. For a beat, I thought maybe he was lost or wanted help. Instead, he just stood there, letting the rain run down his face. I told him he had the wrong house and tried to close the door. He hesitated, still smiling, keeping his foot in the frame like he was testing boundaries. The pause felt like a held breath. After a long, stiff moment, he finally stepped back and walked away. I shut the door and texted Thomas. "Weird guy. Watch out." A few minutes later, I saw Thomas's car pull up and park at the curb. Relief hit me until I opened the front door and he wasn't in the driver's seat. I called his phone. The screen in the parked car lit up. His phone was inside the car, but Thomas wasn't. My stomach dropped. I went back inside, looking for signs of him. That's when I noticed something off. The hallway lights were dark. I was sure I'd left them on. At the end of the hall, pressed flat against the wall like a shadow trying to disappear, stood a figure. For a second, I didn't move. Then he stepped forward, calmly, raising one arm. Something glinted in his hand. When someone is about to pull a gun, there's no time for thinking, only a rush of everything bad that could happen. I turned and ran. I didn't grab anything. I didn't stop to call. I ran out into the rain, soaked through and hid on a neighbor's porch while dialing 911 with shaking hands. From my hiding spot, I watched officers burst through my front door with guns drawn. They chased the man out the back, but he cleared the fence and vanished into the storm. The scene was chaos. Officers sweeping rooms, flashlights cutting across wet floors. Minutes later, they found Thomas down the street, bound inside a car, shaken and alive. The man had forced him at gunpoint into the vehicle when he pulled up, then come back to my house looking for me. If I had opened the door and stayed or tried to confront him, I don't know what would have happened. The object he raised? A gun. The difference between Thomas and me that night was inches and seconds. I ran and got lucky. They found the suspect's car, later, stolen earlier that night, and the lead went cold. No arrest, no answers. The worst part isn't just that he nearly killed us. It's the idea that he picked that night, picked that car, picked that house. He planned enough to use the storm as a cover, enough to grab one friend and target the other. I replay that night a lot. The smile in the doorway, the foot that wouldn't leave the threshold, Thomas's phone lighting up in an empty car. The storm hit him, but it couldn't hide the way my heart kept pounding afterward. I still check locks twice. I still watch shadows at the edge of the yard. And every thunderstorm feels like a reminder that danger can show up at any time, even when someone knocks politely on your door.